Hey everybody, it's Peter Karunas again with Shopbox, and in this video we're going to be talking about a very interesting component to one of my favorite books, Traction. You're not going to want to miss this one. Alright, so in this book, Traction here, it's a wonderful book that really describes what is conceivably called the EOS system, Entrepreneurial Operating System here, and there's many different components to this book here. It's definitely changed my life. The general conception is it's explaining how you as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, can change your management style for the better to improve your business, to improve your bottom line, but also to really just focus on yourself, the future of your business, making sure your team is properly aligned within the same vision, and making sure that your business gains traction. But in this video, I wanted to really create a video here that was enlightening to those sign shop owners and how we can relate. There's one component here that I really want to highlight here, and that is how you can create accountability within your team dynamic. So I'm going to read a little paragraph from this book here, and then we're going to talk about it, and I'll tell you exactly how we can implement this into our sign shops. Measurables. It's what gets measured gets done. Complete mastery of your data component is achieved when you boil the organization's numbers down to the point where everyone has a single, meaningful, manageable number to guide them in their work. This number will enable leaders, managers, and owners alike to create clarity and accountability throughout their team. With a complete scorecard, you can track high-level numbers down to a single person as the source. So that is an excerpt out of this book that I highlighted here and immediately adopted into my sign company here, and that's how you can create a management system, a management style that effectively holds everybody accountable. A scorecard can hold each and every person accountable in your system right now. So let's kind of go over what visually a scorecard for an employee in your shop could look like. Now in this example, we're going to be doing a scorecard for a typical sign shop graphic designer. Now in this scorecard, there is a number. What is that number? What is the number that designer has to be responsible for on a weekly basis to hit their targets so that they stay on course and really just provide that extra wheel to the system that stays in line so that when everybody hits their goals, the goals of the company are met. So in this example, this graphic designer, let's just arguably say he makes $1,000 a week. In order to be a profitable business, a modest goal here would be that this graphic designer has to provide work at a 3 times the value of what it costs the owner for that employee. Now, sure, you can take into account burden rates for this employee, and you can add in all those added costs to the actual cost of this employee. But for the sake of this example, we're just going to use even numbers here and make this a $1,000 employee. But I encourage you to take in all of those burden rates and all of those costs to employing this person and take into account that, and then set your targets, whether they're going to be 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, whatever the case may be. Now, in this example, it's a very simple calculation. The graphic designer has to design projects and total 3 times their value each week. So in other words, they have to pay for themselves and also bring in revenue for the company. They have to produce, or design in this case, revenue for the company. So in this example, we're going to go with 3 times as our target, as our benchmark for this employee. He has to design $3,000 worth of revenue each week to make sure that he maintains his target. And for the weeks that he doesn't, and the weeks that he does by a lot, you're going to want to look at that in a high-level overview over the course of a quarter, several months, maybe even half a year, definitely more than once a year. And in this example here, the graphic designer certainly will total up all of the jobs that he has been working on and get a weekly total to provide a scorecard for himself that the manager is going to look at, that the owner could look at and say, hey, look, this person did in fact design $3,000 worth of revenue for us this week. He hit his target. He was not the source of our problem this week. And in fact, you can actually reward your employees when they fill out this scorecard and they meet their targets, because that's how you know you have a good employee doing their work well and efficient enough that they're constantly hitting those targets. In this next example, we're going to talk about your production manager, your sign shop maker, your sign maker. He's a member of your team too. So each and every employee of your team is going to have a wheel to your system. You have your design wheel, you have your production wheel. Now, your production guy has to also produce 3 times the work each week. Now, that could be work that was just approved and designed. It could be from work for the prior week. But at the end of each work week, your sign shop maker, your sign maker, your vinyl maker, whomever you have in production in your shop, also has to provide 3 times their value, because that's our target for this mock business here, 3 times the value of that particular employee and what that employee costs. So in this example, for a production employee who also makes $1,000 a week, he has to provide himself with $3,000 worth of work each week. Now let's look at another example here where you have an installer. Now an installer, for the sake of this argument, is going to make $1,500. But it's the same business here, and our target for every employee is 3 times the value. So in this case here, this particular installer has to install a total amount of jobs, whether it's 1 job or whether it's 15 jobs. He has to be able to be responsible for producing that final leg of the step here, and that is to produce the installation for all of these signs that he's going to have, that's going to make sure that he gets his target reached, that 3 times multiplier off of his $1,500 salary per week. And now let's wrap this up with sales. Sales here is the most complex one, because this person or these people have to be responsible enough to provide 3 times the amount of sales for each employee in their system, not just themselves. They have to account sales. They have to feed the funnel here. The entire survival of our business rests solely upon their shoulders to sell and provide jobs for the rest of the team to produce. Without sales, your designer has nothing to design. Without sales, your sign maker has nothing to make. Without sales, your installer has nothing left to install. So sales here is the cataclysmic reason behind your business. However, they also have to provide 3 times the value for themselves, and also enough to hit the targets of everybody else's 3 times multiplier in your system. That's the scorecard that's going to make your system a success. When you have your sales that are doing 3 times your graphic designer's salary, you have 3 times your sign maker's salary, you have 3 times your sign installer's salary, and also 3 times their salesman's salary as well. That's how you're going to handle your scorecard for your sales department. They have the most daunting task. They have the most serious task. They are responsible, like I said, for the survival of your business. They're going to be the ones that are the most cataclysmic department in your sign shop. Without sales, nothing else functions. Now, as a sign shop owner here, it's very important to look at these scorecards on a weekly basis. Why a weekly basis? You don't want to have weekly meetings with your employees about their results, because that can be too dampening on the employees' morale. You do not want to counterproduce culture here by constantly telling them, hey, you didn't meet your targets, what's going on? You want to encourage and coach your employees to hit their targets. Otherwise, you're the one that's not being accountable. Now, when you have these weekly scorecards, it's easy to deliver measurables. Did this employee hit their target? If not, why? And that's the coaching point. That's the point in this book where you and the other portions of this book are going to help you design your management style around helping your employees by putting the right people in the right seats to do the right job and to deliver on those measurables. Now, I finished this book, and I got to tell you, It was a fantastic read. I've read it twice over, and I can't believe that I'm still learning more and more things that I didn't pick up the first time on this book. But I got to tell you, the best part about this book was how simple it was to deploy this scorecard system into my new management style, into our sign shop. Because once you have something that you can hold accountable to your employees, its intended use is to not really have those hard conversations. The employee will know if they're not hitting their targets, and they'll want to, because you're giving somebody something to strive for. You're giving them something to hit, a target, a benchmark that they have to get to every week in order for the survival, for their part of the survival of your business. That's what it's all about, is how do you gain traction into your business? How do you take your business to that next level where you can propel yourself to reaching those goals that you've set out for in the beginning of the year, or the beginning of the month, or the beginning of the quarter? How do you reach those goals, right? What's your 3-year plan look like? What's your 5-year plan look like? What's your 10-year plan look like? It starts here with the book Traction. Now, I'm going to put a link in the description below for you guys to pick up this book. It's an easy read. You'll get through it in a couple of days. It's simple, it's painless, but you will learn a lot. There's a lot of nice little handful quizzes in this book. I definitely would recommend it to any sign shop owner to implement this system into their management style, into their company. Bar none, hands down, one of the greatest books I've ever had the privilege of reading. So that's it for me in this video. I hope you learned a little something. I hope you definitely pick up a copy of the book Traction. It's a wonderful book. Like I said, I can't speak enough about it. It's gonna change your life. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. We love our new subscribers. We want to see that list continue to grow. If you're a new sign shop owner, or if you're a seasoned sign shop owner, you're definitely going to want to subscribe to this channel, and you're not going to want to miss any of our videos that are coming out. Stay tuned for those. I love you all. Don't forget, stay positive out there.